Well, welcome back to Home and Backyard, and we've got a very exciting, a kind of an elaborate project to show you. I'm here with Ellen Worthington, who is manager and designer of Guardian Total Lawn Care. And Ellen has designed a wonderful patio garden project. And we're going to go right back to the beginning of the project and see what went on in terms of consultation and design processes, and look at the construction, and it might give you some brilliant ideas for your own garden. Ellen, let's go right back to the first time you saw this yard. Take us through the thinking.
My thinking was, oh my goodness, they need some help. It wasn't a usable landscape. It was not an attractive landscape.
It was a tough job, yeah?
It was.
Now, what you won't be able to pick up on camera is that we're on a very sloping, kind of a wet, problematic area here.
Yes, we are.
So drainage is very important.
It is.
All right, now,
Bill Reimerd is our construction manager. He has a tremendous amount of skills.
So you have to pick it straight up. After we shot our grades, we had brought our machines in to start our footer excavation, in which you need to be 8 to 10 inches of stone base under your wall. And we got about 4 to 5 inches here now. So you go through and tamp it level. And then we'll bring a little bit more in and tamp it again. That way you have a really good solid base for you. Now we're adding our cracker dust, which some people call it screenings. Kind of kick it off a little bit level. And then take your tamper to it. Our next step was to get our drainage work in, and that consisted of these downspouts, getting the water away from the house and flowing underneath the wall. We completed our base and started constructing our wall. And you have to level each block individually, one by one.
The first choice then is what type of building material, what kind of stone. Final decision then was to go with what is called a Yorkstone color and design.
It is a Yorkstone color and design. It's Bradstone. It is based off of the Yorkstone in England.
All right, we're at the stage of backfilling the retaining wall with washed 2B stone. That helps in case any water gets behind the wall. It'll drain down through into our pipe that we have and right on out. All right, we got our wall backfilled, and we're at the point where the wall's high enough. We need to put some geogrid to stabilize the wall. It helps it from heaving out. So what you do is put it down in between the blocks, about halfway up your height, and you'll squirt some glue on there, right on top of the grid. And it's just simply as just take the block and set it right on there, and that continues right around, and you want it about 3 to 4 feet back in your bank. I mean, we're coming up 2 more courses here, and the stone will be right up against the back of the wall for drainage, and then the rest of it will be dirt area for our plantings.
Now, in terms of the design of the walls and the patio, I love the way you've created these wonderful curves, because the house is just so rectangular and the curves soften all that, and yet you've introduced a set of steps in the middle of the curves, and it just is very, very inviting.
We got our foundation in, and we got our steps started. We got them worked up to where we need to start cutting our treads. We've made a mark on our stone. What you want to do is take your stone saw and score it, and then you'll run it back and forth. Another step is gluing our treads down to the blocks so they don't move on you. Just ease it on there. Just continue right across. We did some tamping for our base, and we're using 2B gravel for underneath the patio. We're going to move on to spreading some sand over the base and start laying our treads for our patio.
Ellen, there's a couple of things in this project that really are quite interesting, and first of all is this basement well. It really is, you know, it's attention to detail. It's in a very important part of the patio where I think the kitchen door opens out, and rather than look at an ugly piece of plastic or galvanized steel, you've created a little mini wall, retaining wall in there. It really is beautiful.
Well, that actually was one of Bill's little touches to add that into the mix.
It's lovely, lovely. I'm impressed. It looks like an old-fashioned well.
It does, doesn't it?
Just letting light in. When it comes to using a stone patio material, you're faced with a problem. Do you cement it in? Do you wet, kind of construct it, or do you use just sand and dry? And Ellen's actually got a unique answer to that problem.
Well, we use either a polymer sand or a polymer stone dust because this is a slightly wider joint. We're using a polymer stone dust. You sweep it in to the patio when you have all of your stone laid, and then you wet it lightly, and then you wet it again, and it hardens just like cement. And
it's good because there's no weeds in it?
There are no weeds in it.
And it looks like a wonderful professional cement rendered patio. It's excellent. I'm very impressed with that product. Well, once all the stonework is done and the soil is filled up in the beds, it's time to think of plants. Now, of course, this is not your own garden, so you have to listen to your client, their tastes and preferences.
We look through books and they choose what they like, and then I can make suggestions based on those things that they like according to the area, how big or small something is going to be, how they're going to blend with the other plants, and their color palette. And they always want to choose their color palette according to their own taste. It's one of the most enjoyable parts of the project, but it's also one of the most taxing because you have to get the plants right. Our client decided to add a water feature to this landscape. We picked out a lovely slender urn, about 4 feet tall, that have colors that blend and match with the brick and the stonework.
Well, Ellen, it was an absolute pleasure to visit your garden patio project. It really is very, very nice, very beautiful. Tell us about your company, though, because you don't just build these things, design these. You're quite capable of maintaining it for the rest of the life of the garden.
We are a small company, but we offer full service. And we do grass cutting, we take care of drainage problems. We have a lot of skill set.
Full service in the full meaning of the term.
Exactly. We want to do everything that you need in your backyard to make it beautiful and make your life pleasant.
I've often gone to a lot of gardens where someone else has taken over the maintenance and it doesn't look the same.
Right.
You've designed and built it, and your soul is in this garden.
It is. Our soul is in this garden.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you. My pleasure.